live. Yeah, we going live. Hey, we going live. Yeah, we going live. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello.
I am Jarrett, the football genius Burgess.
And I am Stephanie Fitzpatrick, aka the Advantage Coach.
And this is episode 123 of the Field to the Real podcast.
Yes.
And we're going to dive right into our Who's Really Right.
All right.
Now, we know that every year in college football, at the beginning of the year, they come out with the top 25 preseason poll.
Right.
Which you can understand a little bit why they do it.
I know.
But there hasn't, I don't think, ever been a year where the AP poll ends the way it started.
Right.
So we're not going to look at all 25 teams. We're just going to look at the top 5.
Right.
And we're going to decide if the Associated Press got it right. All right.
Yeah.
And guys, those of you who are watching, you just saw Step's face, so you know what side she's on.
Nah.
So, number 1, Alabama.
Okay.
Number 2, Oklahoma. Number 3, Clemson.
Okay.
Number 4, Ohio State.
Okay.
And number 5, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't belong?
Well, can I make a blanket statement first?
First. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So my first initial reaction when I saw this was like, just kind of what you said. Mm-hmm. How are you all coming up with this? Because each one of these teams has to have a new quarterback this year. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what are we doing? How do you know?
Oklahoma does too?
Don't they? I thought they did. Maybe not.
Oh no, you are right.
Yeah.
No, that's not Oklahoma. I think that's Texas A&M that got a new quarterback. I think Oklahoma still has the same guy they had last year. And maybe I'm tripping.
No, and no disrespect to him. The fact that I don't even know that tells me a lot. So anyway, either way, so to me, of course we know Alabama is kind of like it just got to be that way. Like I think they're afraid not to make Alabama number 1. Honestly.
Nah.
Like really, it just is what it is.
They want no problems.
Yes, listen, it's a mutiny coming if you don't make them number 1, okay?
Right.
So that's just a given. Oklahoma, only because he's the quarterback whisperer, will I say, okay. Clemson, in our pre-production meeting, you kind of explained to me, because again, I did not see the game where Trevor Lawrence did not play, and this young man whose name I will not butcher did. But I'm just concerned because they lost a lot, and I hope that he is all that you say he is. I just am concerned, I'm gonna just say it, about the totality of the team and having Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Trevor Lawrence was kind of, to me, the glue that was holding it all together last year. Yeah. To me. And so now he's gone. So I don't know. I'm just feeling like I don't know what's going to happen. I'm unsure. Ohio State, they have been dwindling, in my opinion. Other than having Justin Fields and Chase Young over the last few years, this is a team that I've always said, how the heck do they always end up in the top? I just never have, because we've had this argument before, Jarrett, about their strength of schedule is always questionable to me.
Ohio State says?
Mm-hmm. Because like most teams start out the year and they might have a couple of easy games, but then as they start to get into conference play and playing in they whatever, it gets a little tougher for them.
Right.
It feels to me like they go at least 5 games of easy every year.
I would have to look at their schedule. I think that because they play in the Big Ten, and obviously the Big Ten is in the SEC, but the SEC has cakewalk teams in it as well. I think that certainly when you compare like the Big Ten, the ACC, the SEC has produced more champions over the last 20 years than any other conference. But when looking at the teams, and especially when looking at like bowl records and stuff like that, and we've had this conversation before, I know you don't put much stock in that. Like some of the lower level teams in the Big Ten are going to be better than some of the lower level teams in other conferences.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you right there.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But
you're fine. So yeah.
I was just saying that just for scheduling purposes, because let me just go over my point right quick because I'm like fumbling and going all over the place.
Oh no.
Like these 5 teams that are up here, are typically in the mix towards the end of the season, right? Yeah. Like, even maybe with feeling like Ohio State may be dwindling, like they have the ability to retool like every year. Because before we know that Justin Fields started off at Georgia.
That's right.
But, before Justin Fields, you had Dwayne Haskins. Before Haskins, I believe it was like Cardale Jones and all of those.
Cardale Jones.
Yeah.
Yep.
And before him, you had Zeke. Like they have the ability to.
They've had Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They always have that one little piece that makes them, that gives them hope. Yeah. And sometimes they've had multiple. That's why I say I think it's dwindled because it was at one point it was multiple pieces. Right. But now it feels like you just kind of keep enough to make it work.
So there's a running back that they still have in that roster, and I can't think of his name, who showed out last year. He's still
I know
there.
Who you're talking about. I can't remember his name. I know who you're talking about.
And the receiver, I think his name is Ale. He's still there. Both of those guys are legit. Now I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. But both of those guys are legit. So I think at the end of the season they'll still be there. Like they have the ability to recruit, and Ohio is one of those hotbed states for football players.
It is.
When you look throughout the country.
Right.
So they belong there. Now, Latulele, I got it. The quarterback from Clemson.
Yeah.
The few times that I've seen him last year, and you remember Trevor Lawrence got hurt last year.
Right. And he had COVID and then he got hurt.
Yes. And he had to play. He's legit. Okay. So I can see why they would still be there. The quarterback from Oklahoma, his name is Spencer Rattler. He showed out. I think if you had seen their bowl game last year, you would understand why like they have them rated high.
At number 2. Okay.
Yeah. Now I think the issue with them is are they going to have receivers? Okay. Because I believe they lost a couple of receivers. Mm-hmm. The only team that I would say, I don't know if they belong on here, and it was honestly the statement that you made in our production meeting. They had a very poor recruiting class. Or no, it wasn't poor. It wasn't poor.
It was just less than it has been in the past.
It wasn't, and that may signal that Kirby Smart may be on the hot seat this year.
I mean, because that was part of why you were brought here. Right. Because you were such a great recruiter. Yeah. At Alabama, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So no, like that's real. So we talking about Georgia, y'all, just in case you don't know.
I'm sorry. Did I say? I didn't say Georgia.
Georgia. Yeah. I mean, listen. You know, they got my heart. But
I know them your babies.
I'm just not sure. I have to be honest and real on this show, and I'm just not sure.
So in this Who's Really Right, we kind of slightly agree on the fact that, like, what's the purpose of this? Because
yes,
how do we even know?
Right.
But where I differ is, like, looking at least 4 of these teams, they're always somewhere around. You know, so I can understand why they would be a pick. Now we know Alabama's Alabama; they're always going to be around.
It is what it is.
Looking
the Patriots of the college football.
Yes. Yeah. Looking at Oklahoma, and what they did in that bowl game, the fact that they have, because I remembered that quarterback being a freshman. I didn't know if he was a true freshman or a redshirt freshman last year, but I knew he was young because I remember just looking at that bowl game and just seeing him play, and I was like, yo, he is phenomenal. Like, I could see why they got ranked so high. Now, they did lose receivers, so, you know, we'll see if, you know, if that'll work out for them. Clemson, they're gonna always be around.
Okay. I mean, because this hasn't always been true, right?
Right. Well, no, not always. But when we look at
I mean, Alabama, Georgia, kind of always been up in there.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama kind of always fall in that top 10
somewhere,
kind of realm somewhere. But Clemson is, I mean, dominant as they have been over the last few years in the ACC. This is still new for them, coming and being dominant. And it's when you think about how long these other teams have been kind of hanging in this realm, like they're the new kids on the block, really.
Well, so yeah, but what I'll say is, like, towards the 2007, 2008, and I believe Tommy Bowden, Bobby Bowden's son, was the coach there. I believe that's when the program started to kind of turn around a little bit and not be, the beat up team in the ACC, right?
Yeah. No, because nobody ever talked about them before. It wasn't in the ACC. They weren't talked about like they are
not
now.
Like that. No,
they have become a dynasty in the 2000s.
Right, and so I think what happened was they kind of just replaced Florida State.
Yeah,
because Florida State used to be one of those teams that would always be around.
Absolutely.
And I
them
can't
in Miami.
I can't remember which year it was, but Tommy Bowden was coaching at Clemson, and
his
Bobby
brother,
Bowden. His
dad was at Florida.
At Florida State, and they called it the Bowden Bowl.
They did. I remember that.
It was the second or third iteration of the Bowden Bowl.
Yeah.
And Tommy Bowden knocked off his dad.
Yep, I remember.
And the program started to turn around right after that.
That right there. Yep, I'll give you that. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm still. I mean, I guess at the core of all of this, the who's really right is did they get it right? No, because I feel like 2 or 3 of these teams need to. I'm still questioning whether you should even be in this conversation right now. And then, but I think on the, like you said, we agree on the one thing. Like, how the heck y'all even do this?
Right.
Why?
Right. And so my part of did they get it right? They got it as right as they could have gotten it. And to me, it's kind of easy to just let's throw all of the teams that are usually around in the top 5.
I mean, that's essentially what they did.
Right.
All this shake it up. Which one? Like, it's only gonna be these few. So which one? Right. That's pretty much it. Yeah. So okay. So I got a question though, quickly.
Go ahead.
If Georgia's not number 5, who is?
If Georgia isn't number 5, who is number 5? I'm going to go with. Oh, that's a good one. I'm trying to think because I know that in these conversations, and probably rightfully so, I don't want to use last year, the COVID year, as like the sample size or I think
it's hard to do that with college football.
Yeah, I want to give some love to somebody in the Pac-10 or the Pac-12, excuse me. But I don't know. What I can say is Indiana might be might take a step this year. Now I don't know if it's number 5 in the country step.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking maybe top 10.
Okay.
And again, I kind of just
right. No, I get it.
I just what do you call it? I contradicted myself by saying I don't want to use the COVID year. And last year was a year that they looked like they took the jump. Yeah. To kind of be in the conversation. Because you remember they almost knocked off Ohio State.
They sure did. Exactly. My point. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah. Let us know who you think is really right.
Yeah.
Did they get it right? Step says no.
No.
I said they got it as right as they could have gotten it. But we both think it's lunacy.
Yeah. All right.
Now put the cameras on me, 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 put the cameras on me.